Good afternoon, and thank you so much that you are here. That I'm the last talk, and it's always very difficult to see if we get people for it. But this one is important, and I'm happy to close the journey today, because I want you to get what I'm telling you, that you take that home and that you talk about it with your friends, family, etc. Because if you want to change the industry a bit, and Nora, you already told it twice this day in a very good way, and sometimes repeating even you, because we have to co-create, collaborate to regenerate. Why do I put co-creation at front? Because if we co-create, we know that we have to listen to each other. We have to understand each other. Collaboration is nothing about only contracts or only getting the work done as soon as possible. It is about co-creation, listening, finding new solutions. Because it is clear that what we did till now, and not only the fashion industry, the industry in itself, created this soil, and the soil is depleted. What are we going to do to increase the health of that soil again? Well, therefore I like to introduce you to Namima. Because she as well says, good that you're here so that we get to know each other. Because if we're talking about soil, have you ever met a steward of the land yourself? We're talking about cotton, about natural fibers, but nobody knows who really makes them, is it? We talk about the factory, we talk about the oil or the gas or whatever, but we never talk about the people who are really doing the job, the stewards of our land. Well, I met her last month and I was incredibly impressed. She is a grandmother already, her family is about 5. She has 3 acres of land to take care for. That's the entrance of her little home, her kitchen, and she was so proud, telling me all about it. But telling me all about it as well that she has to apologize, or she did apologize herself. Because she was happy that finally people come to really see and how it works. But she said, I'm sorry, my farm always looks much better, but I already hadn't got any rain for the last 4 months. That is climate change happening on her doorstep. That last cotton, together we went into the field to really pluck the last cotton, and that is her food garden. But her food garden without rain is as well.
This break can be commercialized. If anyone wants to have an advert, I will happily let you have the microphone. Can I point out, last presentation today, it's been an extra long day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Her kitchen, where her daughter cooked tea for us. And if you look at that picture, the mother and the daughter, that is what farmer life does with you, right? It's tough. But on the other hand, she was as well incredibly proud and strong. Her sleeping room. In the sleeping room, there is as well the chicken, taking care of her next generation as well. Did you ever see a farmer? Did you ever know who is doing it? The good thing about regenerative farmer is that every crop has its function. And here you do see only incidental crops. This one, and I don't know the name, but it is very important in her food garden because it takes care that her cow is not entering the food garden so that he eats her own food. And this one is the trees around it, and they take care of the soap nuts. And with the soap nuts, you don't need any chemical detergent, but we are selling the soap nuts as well. And at the moment I asked her, what is the fruit over there? She directly climbed to get me a papaya. And that is what a generative food and fiber ecosystem is. It is really the holistic view. And cotton is only our tool to create that better soil, to create natural impact next to the absolute positive social impact. Because if we are able to create it in this way, she doesn't need any pesticides, toxic herbicides, or fertilizers. She's able to cook them themselves with the ingredients of her own farm. And yes, that is as well a very good impact for her financially. And it is absolutely a win-win-win. Win-win-win in between the crops, but as well win-win-win in between the partners in this system. The brands, the farmers, and Redis. Because it is clear, what I have seen on the fair, we are all very eager to do steps. We have to improve. But it is as well always a little bit doing the thing less bad. What if we are really going to do more good? And in more good, we go from green, sustainable, restorative. And restorative is the R cycle, the rethink, the reuse, the remanufacturing. But at a certain moment, we have to go to regenerative, because we have to do more good than we take out of it. And if we look at the regenerative, it is really a human and natural ecosystem co-evolve. We really need to collaborate, nature and people. And now I have an overview which is a little bit, it's a lot, but I have to look at it as well. Because we come from a shareholder value, isn't it? And the shareholder value is, of course, big business, and as well a little bit of environment and a little bit of society. We are going to the shared value, in which business, environment, society has an equal share, which is good. But where we have to go to really transform is the system value, in which the business is just in the middle of the society and the environment. And that is business where we really are able to transition to a prosperous system for all. And yes, Redis System stands for that. Redis stands for radically disruptive. Because if we want to go in that direction, we really have to rethink what we did until now. We have to unlearn the successes we had the last 40 years. We did good, but now we know better. So we have to get out of that system. And that's why we call ourselves the first system brand, with cotton as our tool. And we are really working into collaborative value networks. We don't talk about supply chains anymore. Supply chain is linear in business. But we have to go to a collaborative value network because we need each other. We cannot do it within one company. Oh, sorry, one other question, one other thing. And how we do it in the Redis system, just very short, because that's not the core of the speech, but the brands we work with are committed to directly invest from the very first seed onwards. That gives the farmer the possibility to really go from a conventional farming to a regenerative in conversion farming, because they don't have the tools to do it. They need the support of the bigger brands. And yes, I always nudge them a little bit to rethink their marketing budget, which is huge, to create a part of that into a mattering budget. Care for it that it really matters. And with that mattering budget, we can have a subscription model in which we take part of all the seeds and the training of the farmers so that he is able to do it regeneratively. Now I'd like to introduce you as well to Claudia. Claudia and me, we know each other through the performance days, and it was 5 years ago. We directly had to click on values, not direct on product, that we had to sort out a little bit, but from time to time we constantly share ideas, what's going on the market, what do we need, and that is an open conversation where we both learn. But we also know that through building these relationships, we can co-create that new reality in these value networks, but you need courage, trust, and above all, time. We said it in the last time as well, time is a crucial thing. Right now, we live in a fast surrounding. You have your task, you have much too much work, you go on your automatic pilot. But in your automatic pilot, you do not give enough attention to time and to relationships. that's why I'm very happy that Claudia and I take that time once in a while. Claudia is the manager of the Innovation and Sustainability Department of a family-owned company, Lessig. And that company is into children and baby stuff. So not the technical sport part, but a really healthy and non-toxic environment, of course. I come back to Claudia later, because what is important, and I repeat myself, we all have to shuttle a little bit, right? We have to get out of the comfort known. I don't think the comfort zone, but out of the comfort known. Because if we really want to create something new together, what often happens is that we come together and we are going to talk about everything what we know. And if we combine that, then we think 1 and 1 is 3. But that what we do know brought us here where we are. So let's take out of the relationship you have and really share all kinds of ideas. Not directly sit on that what you already know. You have to create openness for the things we don't know yet. Because there is the solution. And that's a fun thing. You might have seen this poster. We have a beautiful collaboration with the performance days. Although they even do not really know what kind of collaboration. They had the courage to say, yes, okay, we're going for it. For each of you who entered here the fair, we are going to generate 1 square meter of soil, supported by the performance days. So that's incredible. So thank you for all that you're coming here. What we're going to do with it, with the harvest, that is something we're going to discuss afterwards. Isn't that nice? So it's not completely thought through already, but it felt good, so we're going for it. The other collaboration I was talking about is Hugo Boss. And the great thing is that only today I noticed that our product is out there. And of course, the collaboration with Hugo Boss is a long-term relationship, which is incredibly important. A long-term relationship from farm to brand, with in between the production supplier. These 3 do trust each other. We know each other. We talked with each other. And through that, we are as well even able to go beyond certification. Certifications are a tool which costs a lot of money, and we want to take that money to bring it to the farmers and to the soil, because those are the one who needs it, and a paper system is not really needed it. Another one I really would like you to look at, because that one is courage, and really go in routes which are unknown yet. Because this is a brand, it's only existing for 6 years, and for 6 years they said, we do not want that money overproduction, because all our stock rooms are full of overproduction. We are only going to do it on pre-order. Everybody thought they're crazy, it's not possible. Now they have a turnover of roughly 20 million, and 95% they only do on pre-order. So there is no stock available at all. Now we're even going into discussions with them if it might be possible to have this pre-order system already to the final consumer and let them invest in growing the cotton as well. Because that is slow fashion. That is really rethinking the system and getting the people on our journey. And now, Claudia, now I really would like to go into discussion with you as well. Yeah, well, the first question: how did you come to our collaboration, and what do we see here?
Thank you. Please sit down. Actually, as you said, we met at Performance Days 5 years ago. The company is a family-run enterprise focusing on baby children items, with a strong focus on sustainability, even if it's nowadays a word that's more rather a buzzword than anything else. But it has been a big issue for the company since its beginning. And since its beginning, we had been using like conventional cotton. We had been using a lot of like polyester, whatever everybody else does. always looking for a more sustainable alternative, and always looking on real impact. Because what's important for us, it's really to change something. And this is something we found. We had been talking about, like, with the owner of the company, could we just make or have an own cotton production plant somewhere? And then coincidentally, we met you, and we found this a way really to make a change. It's not something that we would say, maybe we use cotton, it's a bit better than polyester or microfiber. It's a total different story, because it's to really, as you say, it's regenerate. It made us participate and really making some acres or living conditions for people better than they had been before. And that's something, really realizing this effect, or this, where you could really hands-on change something towards better, not just have organic control. Okay, everything's under control. That's what maybe it's important to lawmakers, have everything under control. But we found in this way really something that we could say, this is us, this is our company, and this was really the one of the main reasons where we said, this perfect match, and that's why we want to be part of it, really.
Well, thank you, and we were very happy to do this beautiful soft muslin. But of course, if you do new things, it's not always going smooth. We also have hurdles. The good thing is, of course, as well, the long-term relationship, and that we created a product with circularity in its DNA. What do I mean by that? Stitched with cotton, cotton labels, and natural dye. So even the dye stuff itself can contribute to the better soil health, because it is with natural things which has a certain nutrition as well for the soil. But the learnings, Claudia, where do you feel in the company itself? What is it that you need to take or be aware of starting this kind of collaboration?
Wait, it's a thing that's totally, or our cooperation really has become something that's totally different than any other relationship with other suppliers, because we don't really talk about suppliers here. For us, it's really something, we live with each other, being able to share the pictures to see, how people are doing there. Saying so means also the way we are working really has become a different way, or is different in this project, whether or compared to traditional product decisions or design. Because first, obviously, being part of the system means you take part, or we take part of the risk of maybe there's, less crops this year, there's other problems, but also being part of the success and being part of the product itself. I think most of you, I guess, are professionals, knowing your reality, like working in a company, doing or taking decisions for products. And for us, really, it has become a total different scope. Suddenly, you're actually a decision taker for the well-being, maybe sometimes, of other people, which is really a different scope, and which you have to learn, actually. I still find, like, working with you, it's a lot of encouragement, but it's also a challenge, because we are actually, like, working in this industry, we have learned to take decisions based on economy, based on contracts, and especially in times like this, where you hear Supply Chain Act, green claim legislation. You hear all these kind of things that you suddenly fall under, and obviously here it's something that's totally different. It's not a we comply, we don't comply. Your part in, I look at the pictures, of the farm, and, we know that's something that we are changing as a company. So it's something we had to learn, actually, And we are talking this morning in the train, like learning also to every time when situations come up that are not planned, because it's part of the project, going back to what is our relationship based upon. And our relationship is really based upon we want to make this world a little bit better. And it's not something that I would say about relationships to other suppliers, where we work on, okay, the contract. You made a wrong decision, made a mistake. It's the contract. It's there. And here it's really something different because it's people, and it's like always or keeping in mind it's about changing things to good, which we have in common and which we also have in common with these people in India, which for me, we know most of our suppliers of conventional products, we have very good relationships, but we don't have the same impact in their lives that we have here. And this is something really, different and to learn, because there are risks, there are a lot of things, to learn, the same as I would say learning to be a farmer, because we are not a farming company, we are a clothing or maybe product company, and we are learning what it is like to be a farmer, and that's something totally different.
Well, especially like to be a farmer because of the timing. We do one harvest a year because it's only rain-fed, and one harvest a year has nothing to do with your collection rhythm or your drops of the collection. So how are we going to cope with that? Therefore, it's incredibly important, like you already said, how do we get the strategy, the big boss, with his heart with it? Because yes, it doesn't fit into the timings or in the Excel sheets or in your PDM system. It doesn't fit at the moment. But it does fit for a better planet, a better soil, and a better situation of the people. But what I'm now curious, because you are really doing it and in there, what do you think as you hear it? What is your position in the company? How would you bring it back to your company? Or where would you see the hurdles in your company to go along with it? Is there anybody who wants to give a comment on it?
The microphone's live. You can join in.
Okay. Let me see. I'm not sure which I have next. Right. Because that's something we're all speaking about as well, isn't it? Do we need recycled material? Is it to be recycled? What we feel out of the really biological cycle of the healthy cotton, where no toxics is concerned, no pesticides, as what you just said, it's really a beautiful, we call it almost a golden resource. How do we keep it as clean in the cycle? And that is, of course, a next challenge. And in that next challenge, we are collaborating at the moment with 13 companies in Holland as well to investigate. But even if we want to increase that beautiful, the usage of the beautiful resource, you cannot do it alone. So you have to find partners which you directly feel, yes, I can trust you. Yes, I can make mistakes with you. Yes, I can just try out within the existing frame. Because if it would be beautiful if we really have that regenerative, circular textile cycle. And that means that these beautiful baby swaddles, for example, already sewn with cotton and with the cotton labels, are very easy to be into a next cycle again. The natural colored ones can be re-dyed, they can be stamped, they can be repurposed. But at a certain moment, they as well can be, again, as nutrition for the soil, because they're as clean as they're meant to be. And that is our next step, which I always nudge the company a little bit, and that might be sometimes my mistake, because I have this beautiful vision that it's already possible. But we have to take you with us. We have to take the company with us. And in our collaboration, my next step is there, how can we involve the biggest retailers? Because if we can get the biggest retailers in here as well, with a direct connection to the uh, consumers. I don't want to use the word consumers. I always call it right now prosumers. Think about it. Act with it. And if you don't use your swaddles anymore, bring them back at the moment that we can still use the resource. Don't use it as a cleaning towel, for example. How do you see that? What would your next step in our journey together? Where do you see the main next points we can take?
I mean, we're living, all of us, we're living in we are still living in a consumer world where we produce goods for consumption. We have a lot of projects talking about product recycling, about especially about this kind of products where we know where the source is, where we know, as you said, where no pesticides are used. Um, for us, it's really, or we are thinking at this moment about ways how we could extend the the applied life cycle of the product, how we could extend it longer as it is right now, because all of us, and I think that's definitely the case of most companies, we produce goods that are far too valuable as to be single use, twice use, maybe resold or reused, repaired. But the goods itself, there is so much value to it. There is human value producing it, as you say, where you see, the people in the crops. There is workmanship. There is value in terms of, I don't know, technology. There's so much value in the goods, and really for us, the next step is, we are at this moment thinking of how we could extend the applied life cycle, because our products, they are long living. They live much longer than, in our case, one baby, two babies, three babies. In your case, maybe one jacket or one user or one mountaineer, two mountaineers. How we could really take the most out of it, because we are proud of the products that we make. We are proud of the people that work for us, and really make this product last longer, not because people would need it, but they want it. Two times, three times, four times. And that's actually for us would be the next step. Obviously, increasing or, getting more people or convincing more people of this kind of product that really has a history and has a relationship itself. It's not a product that's in a department store, but this product for us really is something.
It's an investment.
Investment in a relationship, and I'm not talking about relationship of two people or two companies, but it's investment into people that we got to know and we feel connected with.
Talking about circularity, I would like to show one other collaboration which we did with Tomorrowland, in which we really created a T-shirt which was made to be circular, at least for 3 seasons in this period, or in this Tomorrowland festival seasons. But now, at this moment, at this very moment, I just got the photos. They are going to be shredded. They're used 3 times, 3 years long, and now they're going to be shredded, because at the first idea of creating the T-shirts, they already have been thinking, what is the next life of this T-shirt? The next life will be a jeans. And the color is already like that we can create, we don't have to recolor it again. So if we make new yarn out of it, it will directly be used for the next life in a jeans. And the picture itself is so beautiful, because it was one of the first times that the farmers actually saw out of their cotton an actual product. Because we never bring it back to them, is it? But they want to feel connected as well, and they are as proud as we are on our products. Because it is all about co-create, collaborate to regenerate. And last but not least, I think as well, we need some kind of another language. We are always talking about getting rid of our negative footprint, right? Negative footprint is something you already did. What if we all thinking about a positive handprint, something active, something you pay attention to with every buy, with every development you do, and in the system which we just discussed, that is possible because then we actually create a positive handprint for everybody in the chain, but especially for the soil and for the biodiversity, etc. And what is very important, and I know it's a little bit, the audience is a little bit small maybe for that, but we would love to hear where your hurdles are, because now we have the actual lady who introduced it to the company and really had to bring it forward, and me, who is of course promoting the system to everybody. But I like to hear some critics or some thoughts. Important is that we are all clear that it is not about one collection. It is about a commitment, a joint commitment, that we really want to create an impact within your own value chain. Every company on this fair, every company who visited here, we can do good within your own value chain. And this way of how we promote the cotton is one way. There are other ways, but this is one way. And I learned from the speaker before that of course you have to have that one message, and then of course a huge QR code. I forgot the QR code, but please don't forget our name, Redis Cotton. I put as well some cards, and we are very much open just to inform you how we work, or just to create the conversation around it. Because our system is not like that we're going to sell you this season some cotton fabrics. That's not what we do. We have to create awareness, and we are very happy that we have partners who want to sit here and really take that message further, because I think that is the main thing we have to do right now. And Redis Cotton, I always as well call it Redis Rebels. In every company, I nudge people to be a Redis Rebel, because that's what you need. And I'm so happy with you, Claudia, that yes, in the company itself there's somebody who is so much convinced that is the right way, that he as well convinces his colleagues, because it is different from the system you work in. So it is at the very beginning always a little bit extra work or a little bit annoying because it doesn't fit. And therefore those Redis Rebels are gold for us. And I hope at least that a few out of you and a few to the listeners on the computer, we can create a few Redis Rebels. And thank you for listening, if there are no questions anymore.
Well, firstly, can we show our appreciation for both Nikki and Claudia? But yes, this is the first time you've asked for questions rather than comments. So we're here with the microphone. I have some questions myself. But does anyone want to pick the brains of the people on stage? Here we go, Nora.
So thank you very much, Nikki, and thank you, Claudia, for these insights. And I especially love what I have been experiencing last week when I attended a conference, and this is what I would see as a continuation of my experience there. A call for more humanity, I will really call it. We need no more digitalization. We don't need new technologies. We have a lot. We have it all. But it's really the humanity you also try to spread, and what we do together and what we achieve together. And I think this will bring back this regenerative thinking. One of my students in the master class was talking last November about regenerative life cycle. And I think this is it. And we will be much more happy about our achievements and about how we work together if we can make a positive handprint. I love that wording. Thanks for it too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any online? Nikki, can I challenge you, please?
Yeah, please.
You've not given us much in the way of facts and figures of how much difference you're doing. We know the direction, but have you been able to quantify it?
Yeah, but I'm not out of. Oops, I'm not from a figure lady out of my head. So, what kind of figures would you like to hear? How much carbon we can store? How much water we really retain in the soil? Um, yes, we have them, and we have them even in a very positive way. But I cannot say them out loud at the moment. What I can say is that because in our system we do supply the farmers directly with 9 different crops, cover crops, trap crops, etc. He's directly able to do his farming independently of any other um, fertilizers or other things. And that means his income is already increased by 35% for that. Aside the better nutrition, aside the crops he grows that he can sell, but only not to spend it on this big corporation stuff. That is a figure which I can directly say. And the other ones, there are on our site, because we have them, of course, but I cannot just not call them out loud. Sorry.
No worries on figures. Something this industry is built on is standards. So we're talking about audit systems. What springs to your mind about regenerative agriculture? Which systems would you recommend? Obviously, you have your system, but is there a verification, a third party, or anything like that? Like
Well,
we have BlueSign, we have Octatext, and the such like. What
there are
would you say
different.
should be applied?
There are different certifications. What we at the moment are doing is we have all the data. So yes, we do see that we are in the right direction. We are working with Regen Network in America to see if you can implement a peer-to-peer review, because of course you need always the third party to review your data. But as long as we do it through an official institute for certification, it is a huge amount for these real poor tribal farmers. So that's why we're really looking into the peer-to-peer review. There is one certification at this moment, and it's called Regen Agri from Control Union. We're looking into that because some of our customers, of course, are asking for proof because they want to tick the box. We're looking into it. And the other certifications, we're working towards it. We are absolutely looking at their standards, but we do not have them at the moment ourselves.
Here we go.
I have a question about the hurdles you were talking about earlier. I think probably it can be difficult to come up with one on the spot, but I'm assuming that you both ran into a lot when you were working on including this new system in your production. What kind of advice do you have for overcoming those hurdles? What has been like the most fruitful approach that you've found to make sure that, like you said, people are open to kind of reassessing their own approach and like overcoming those things together to include your system?
Thank you. I think I can only talk of what we have experienced. For us, it has been really good to know each other first, obviously, see what impact is made, and then transport it into the company by really being, this was actually the big advantage that I had, that I was already in charge of the sustainability management. I was already there, like in this position of being able to really to influence and take the message further. I think it's very important, or I found it very important to have somebody inside, maybe it's you, maybe it's some of your colleagues, that would be burning for this, for the bigger advantage, for the bigger claim, because obviously, as I said before, it's a risk, it's something new, it's something that's not traditional, it's not required by law, but it really makes a difference. And that's what I found, being able of get together with peers that would be like, would share, what I knew that would share the same interests. In our case, it was, one of my colleagues as well as the owner of the company, very lucky. So this message got really quickly transported because it's something, yes, it's a challenge. It's something different than, normal procedures. It's not the way you would normally do it. But I think really the biggest part is get people involved in this, that are burning for something more. That's not just controlled cotton, or that's not just the controlled traditional way, the provable way, but that really want to make a difference. And with this aspect, or with this, if you can then approach like the real decision makers, like, your big boss, the owners, or somebody else, it's really something that works. Because being able to make a change is something that I think, even if you're not keen on sustainability, if it's not something that is born already in your company, I think these pictures show a different way and touch and help really to make a difference and to take a different approach. And also being able to go step by step, as you were saying earlier, it's not something that will happen overnight. It's not something that you will change the whole collection, but being able to start and learn and make an impact. And you will see, or we found at least, that it's like being able to make this difference also changes perspectives within the company.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. It's not a learning curve in the collaboration, but as well in the companies, because you constantly take other people in there as well, in this vibe of hey, here this is substantial. But I would like to add to your question, thank you, is that yes, it is incredibly important that you have that burning fire, and you can bring that to the C-suite, but we are even able to bring it to the C-suite with a kind of confidence for them. Because as soon as we are going to collaborate on a long-term level, then you're as well able to make certain afspraken, certain rules or certain collaboration. And that means that we all know that the cotton price in the last time is really going up and down and up and down. And we could create a collaboration in which we really establish a price within a certain brackets. We cannot never say exactly the price which is going to be, but we're able to give you a plannable risk. And that is something C-suite is loving to hear, because then they can calculate their risk that they cannot do with any other cotton supplier.
No virtual questions. Are there any more questions from the audience? If not, can I ask you once again to show your appreciation for Nikki and Claudia?
Thank you, Claudia.
Same.
Thank you for being here that late.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful way back home. And if you're interested, here are cards, and